I failed at chess. This is round 3 of the Maryland Open. Playing Daniela Fitzsimmons. She's around 52 points lower rated than me in terms of live rating. And yeah, I entered the round with 2 out of 2. So there's 7 people with the perfect score. So I'm hoping to win and be in a really nice spot heading into Sunday. And I decided to switch it up. I played the Caro in round 1. So I was like, I'll play the Philidor in round 2. So I start off with D6, Knight of 6, and then E5. I was talking to my hotel mate, my roommate, and we were talking about how this was going to happen. Knight of 3, and then I was saying how I'm going to take on D4, and I'm going to win this game. That did not happen. I'm a little bit familiar with some of this. I know that white can be aggressive and play bishop f4 and queen d2. And I'm very happy. Like, if I castle, she plays queen d2, and then I play knight c6, and she castles queenside. I'm very happy. Like, let's fight to the death. I'm very happy with this. But she does not do that. She goes bishop c4, and I castle, and then she castles, and then I go c6. Akil and Austin told me that knight c6 makes a lot more sense here. You're continuing development, and if white takes, black is better. That makes sense now that I know that. In the moment, I thought it made perfect sense to go c6. Even if it does weaken d6, I thought it was perfectly fine. And maybe I could try to strike in the center with d5 at some point. But apparently, that's just a poo-poo doo-doo plan. But I thought it was fine. She plays a4 after I play c6. And I calculate for a while, and I end up playing knight takes e4. And the idea is I sacrifice my knight temporarily, but I get a pawn fork. And, right now she has a space advantage with this pawn on e4. So I thought I'm going to get rid of that space advantage, and then I'm going to have no issues in this game. Because I'm just going to play knight d7, knight f6, and then bring my bishop out eventually. But this is my worst nightmare. After I got here, I'm like, this sucks. I hate symmetrical positions. And this is one where I have less activity. Like, black is probably fine, but oh my gosh, why am I doing this to myself? And that's just chess in general. So I play bishop f6. I originally want to go knight d7, but knight f5 is really, really annoying. Attacking the bishop, and if I go bishop d6, then maybe it's fine, but maybe she can also go knight d6. Maybe she can start bringing her queen in. I don't know. I forgot what exactly I didn't like about it. I think knight d6 I just didn't like, because I didn't want to lose the bishop pair for nothing. But I was so underdeveloped for a long time that I probably should have just lost the bishop pair and just suffered against the bishop pair in an open position. Like, I probably should have just done that because of how bad my position was. So I play bishop f6. She plays bishop e3. Then I play rook e8, attacking the bishop. So I wanted her to commit to bishop e3. So then now she can't defend her bishop with rook e1. So if I go rook e8 first, then she can defend with bishop. Then she can defend with rook e1. I thought she might actually play c3. And, when I was first calculating bishop f6, I was like, oh, maybe I can take. Because if pawn takes, she has an IQP. And I can play bishop e6. But then it gets kind of dicey, slicey, not very nicey. Because, like, she could go queen h5 here, attacking my pawn. If I go g6, I have dark squared holes around my king. And if I go h6, she might be able to just sacrifice the bishop. And if I take, she takes. And this looks like bad news bears, to put it lightly. So I wanted to go for, give up the bishop pair for her to have the IQP, but concretely, I couldn't find a way to make it work. Maybe after bishop e6, queen h5, maybe I can go f5. Maybe that's the way I can make it work. I say bishop d3, for example. Well, this pawn would be hanging. So Actually, I did not think about this move f5. I think f5 solves all my problems, and yeah, I mean she definitely has compensation because even if I do take, then she could go rook d1, but I'm up a pawn, and so I got something for it. I got something for the bishop pair. So I definitely should have gone for this now that I see it. Oh, well, if she played c3, but she did not play c3. She played bishop e3, yeah, and then she played bishop f3. Now I develop my knight because now she plays knight f5. It's not hitting my bishop. I can also go knight e5, so attacking her bishop. And if she goes takes, then I can actually go in between take and then take, and life is good. But that doesn't happen. After knight e5, she goes back. And so she's fully developed here. And so one of her plans is going to be to expand on the queen side, perhaps, and just centralize her pieces. She's a bit ahead of development. I need to figure out what to do with this bishop. I play a6. Bad move. Why am I doing this? I don't think it's that bad. It's just not good. I think I just go bishop d7 here and just continue with the game. Like, yes, my bishop is not great on the square, but she can't really take advantage of it right now. You know, what is she going to do? How is she going to take advantage of my bishop? I can also go a5 and try to stop the queenside expansion. That seems perfectly reasonable to me. But I go a6, and this allows her to go a5. And now she's clamping on the dark squares, very similar to my round 2 game. In my round 2 game, I go a4 and a5 to clamp on the dark squares, and she's doing the same thing, clamping, restricting the queen side, making my life more difficult. I play queen c7. My original plan after a5 was to go c5, but after she played a5, I realized c5 is not good because of knight b3. I originally thought wasn't calculating knight b3. I was calculating knight f3. So, for example, knight f3 here, then queen c7, and everything's fine. But knight b3 would attack the pawn twice, and I would have to, and I can't go b6, so I have to move my pawn forward to c4. Then I can return back to d4. And is this a weakness or is this a strength? I really, and also this diagonal is open too, so actually she can throw in, well, okay, actually she can't throw in because I can trade queens. But I was thinking, but there's our scenarios where she can try to get a bishop to b6 and then a knight to c5. There are some scenarios like that. So yeah, so I put queen to 7, and I really thought she would still play knight b3. Knight b3 to go bishop b6 and knight c5 seems extremely annoying and extremely tough to deal with. But she didn't do that. She went knight f3. And here, if I do want to play c5, I should just play c5 now. Austin was telling me that actually I should just go bishop g4. And the idea is that after knight takes e5, I can take the bishop and I trade off the bishop pair and I relieve the pressure, and I can always meet bishop b6 with queen e7, or in this case, queen takes e5. But I can always just move my queen out of the way. Like, okay, yes, she controls the d8 square, but my bishop also controls the d8 square, so it's fine. So I really overcomplicated it. I think she really let me off the hook with knight takes f3 because I can just meet with bishop g4, finish development, continue the game, and I don't care if bishop b6 is played. That's the approach I should do, but I am poo-poo dum-dum, and I just take the knight and then play c5, and I thought I solved all my problems. The problem is I was wrong. And one of the main things I was calculating was, okay, well, I think she's going to go queen d2 to try to go bishop f4. And I'm going to go bishop e5, winning in tempo, and after g3 or h3, then I'm going to go bishop d7 to go bishop c6. Or go rook b8 first and then b6 or something. I don't know. Even that's wrong. But there's some sense to it. What I missed was her move queen d5, which is much, much better. I can't move my bishop without losing the b7. If I go bishop e6, sacrificing the pawn. Well, now, if I try to win this pawn on b7, well, now she just has a passed pawn 3 squares away from promotion, and it's bad news bears, to say the least. And if I try to not lose the A pawn, well, I'm still just down a pawn, and life is not fun. Life is not fun at all. But maybe it's better than what happened in the game. Instead, I try to hang on to everything, so I go bishop e7. So I'm playing very passively, and I hate playing passively, but I didn't see anything another solution. So I played rook fe1, which was a really neat idea, setting up tactics against my king. And just centralizing a rook on the open file. It makes a lot of sense. I thought she might go, rook d1, but I do not do that. I would love to go rook b8, so they'll go bishop to free up my bishop to go to d7 and c6. We'll go rook b8, g3 is very annoying, because now bishop f4 would be a skewer on my queen and rook. And then we go bishop d6 to fix that threat. Then rook a d1 would make me in a world of hurt here. If I go rook d1 or rook d8, then bishop f4 here, because if I take, there's simply back rank mate, and there's not much I can do here. I guess actually, so rook d8, bishop f4, there's bishop e6, and then takes, and then takes, and I'm just down. I am just down. Rook. So everything's losing. So I can't go rook b8. So I go rook d8. And my idea is, okay, if she goes queen e4, then I can go rook b8. So, and I can meet bishop f4 with bishop d6. And I am finally so close to getting ready to finish development. To move my bishop out to e6 or d7. And go from there. But she does not go queen d4, or queen e4, I should say. She does not go queen e4. She goes bishop f4. Very flashy move. If I take bishop, it's back rank checkmate with the rook on e1. Going to e8. She said after the game that I should take her queen. And after she takes my queen, I go rook d7 to guard my bishop and attack her bishop. After bishop b6, black is very sad and pathetic, but is alive. So, not much more you can ask for other than being alive. Instead of that, I go queen d7. I was getting pretty long time. At this point, after queen d7, it's move 21, but I have 20 minutes. Okay, I actually have a decent amount of time. Not too bad. I just suck. So we trade, and she goes bishop g4. She played a very good game. She played a very beautiful game. And I cannot move my rook, or else my bishop hangs. And the power of the bishop pair from HE double hockey stick. I go bishop f8, or king f8, to defend my bishop. Then she trades, and she is simply up in exchange. And it was good. I wanted her to prove her technique, and she did it. She proved her technique. She centralized the rook, and all of her moves are just so easy. I go bishop c6. She forces a trade of bishops. When you up material, you want to trade pieces. Probably should have gone, if I wanted to be a bit more tricky, I probably should have gone bishop a4, so she can't go bishop d6, but it wouldn't have changed much here, because she can go rook d5, then I can go c4, and then bishop d6 anyways, so it doesn't really change much at all. If I go bishop c6, we trade, and I still cannot activate my rook on a8. There's no open files for it, so I just go rook e8, and we trade, and then I centralize my king. She pushes her pawns forward, and right now I'm going to put everything on a light square. I have a light square bishop. I control a light square as well. I'm going to try to make a light square blockade, and I'm going to say, hey, you cannot get past these light squares, and every pawn needs to go on a light square. It needs to pass on a light square to be promoted. So there's no way you can win. That's my claim. I want to try to trade more pawns, cut them down material, and try to hold this bishop versus rook endgame. She centralizes her king. I go bishop d5. I thought about playing f5 here, but I was trying to hang on to my two weaknesses. So, what are my two most weak pawns here? It's my f pawn and my b pawn. My bishop can go to d5 and guard both of my weaknesses. If I go f5, then my two weak pawns are my g6 pawns and my b7 pawns. So it's going to be tougher for my bishop to hold on to both the b6 and well, the b7 and g6 pawns. I would love to play c4 and have her play b4 and then take on passant, and then like even if I lose this pawn, her split pawns can't do that much damage on my position. There's no pawn breaks for her. But if I do go c4, pawn c4 here, she can try to sneak in on the dark squares here, and it's not very fun for me at all. She could also maybe even go rook d4 too to attack. I'm not really sure which one she would do. So I go bishop d5, using my pawn and my bishop to block her king from going forward. She goes b4. I take, she takes backs, and I centralize my king. And I'm like, okay, well, this b4 pawn, I want her to be forced to spend resources defending it. So she goes king d4, blocking my king from going forward. I go bishop e6 here, and now our kings oppose each other, and neither of us can step forward. And she puts a rook on the c file, cutting off my king from going there, and maybe infiltrating at some point. I shuffle. She puts a rook on c5 and then plays b5. b5, the only pawn break available in this position, forcing me to respond with because my pawn's hanging now. Now I would love for both these pawns to be gone. That would be a lot easier for me to hold. But the fact that both of these pawns are on the board make this position a lot harder to hold because I have to worry about defending this pawn. And I thought about going bishop c8. Looks passive, not massive, but it didn't look very easy to do because she could probably go check here. And if I go here, then she can go check. I have to defend my king or defend my bishop, which doesn't look good. If I go here, then she can go rook d7. And maybe this is okay. Yeah, I mean, maybe this is okay. So maybe I didn't have to be worried about that. But she could also just go rook c5, and everything is on a dark square. So my light square bishop is basically rendered useless here. But I can go bishop e6. So maybe I should have just gone bishop c8 here to block off her king from going forward. And if she ever moves her rook, then I'm fine. I think she might also go rook b6 here to force my king back. And then she might try to walk in with her king, but she can't really do that at the moment. But she's probably going to go rook back and then king b6 and then king c7 or king a7 at some point. So she probably would have brought her king to the queen side to target my lone b pawn and then eventually sacrifice her rook for the bishop and pawn to promote her a pawn. So there's many roads that lead to Rome in this case, and this is quite one of them. So I don't want to move my bishop, I don't want to move my king, but I have to move some pieces. And the amazing part was the speed at which she was playing, because at this point she still has an hour on the clock, and I have less than a minute. And here I thought I might have had I thought maybe I have a chance to hold this, because after king a7, I know she's planning on sacrificing the rook, and which that's what she does. She sacrifices a rook for a pawn. I know I get this pawn, and I know that I'm actually going to promote with check first. And so after I promote, I'm like, okay, after king takes, I should be losing, but if I can get a position like this, well, actually, maybe I'm not losing at all. Maybe I have a chance to draw this game. But the issue is that, she counter checks. She blocks the check with the check, and I just resigned because no point in playing this out anymore. If I go king b5 here, she's just going to round up my pawns, and not much. Oops. Not much needs to be done here, because in a scenario like this, I'm forced out in all occasions. So that was round three. I'm really disappointed in myself for being tunnel visioned on this bishop coming to b6. I think I should have realized after knight f3, I could just go bishop g4 and my problems are solved. Yes, she gets a bishop to b6, but so what? I really shouldn't have been worried about that, and I should have just completed development. But instead, I was poo-poo dum-dum, and That didn't happen. That didn't happen. So I'm going to hit the game review, and I'm going to try to come back in round four. It's 11 p.m. on this Saturday. It's been a long day, so maybe hopefully today tomorrow is better.